All right, now you can hear me. There we go. Welcome. You guys, today we're going to have a great conversation today. And I wanted to really talk to you guys about the difference between black-owned media companies and so-called mainstream media companies. I think there is a big disconnect, and I just want to talk to you about it because I think we do ourselves a disservice when we don't talk about the 800-pound elephant in the room. So as many of you guys know, I'm a partner at OnStage Plus. We are a digital content company. And, back when YouTube first came out, that was like, oh my God, I can have a little channel on a website. And people didn't really realize the full breadth of YouTube and how awesome it was for allowing YouTube creators and content creators to express themselves and really get a following, And then people said, oh, I've got a YouTube page, and took it for granted because it was free. And because of that, I think what happened was people were basically like, oh, I'll make a YouTube page, or I won't. They really didn't really, there's an old saying, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and something given has no value. And so people would basically go and make a YouTube page and kind of half do it, maybe, not really do it. And as a result, I think there's a lot of pages out there that are abandoned, and people just don't even take care of whatever because YouTube's not charging. But the minute YouTube started charging and you were paying monthly, trust me, people will be updating those pages like 40 going north. And I've seen people that I've talked to who are like, no, let's just go back. So YouTube is one thing. YouTube is web-based. You can also get them on some digital platforms, and we're going to talk about that. What's the difference? But I've seen people like, oh yeah, I'm just YouTube. I got a website. And you might have a video on a website, but YouTube is different than the fact that they've got billions of viewers. They say for every 1 hour is being uploaded. That means there's so much content on YouTube that you literally could never watch it all. There's just so much. But YouTube, once again, is a company owned by Google, right? And Google is a company that is a media company for all intents and purposes. It's a search engine, but when they entered into the video realm, they became a media company. And subsequently, sometimes media companies, depending on what their leanings are, when it comes to, how can I put this, politically, because you get that big, you're definitely going to have political leanings, because you have aspirations, you have lobbyists, and don't get it wrong, but Google does have lobbyists when it comes to, looking out for their interest in the tech sector. So I'm saying that because YouTube actually is not available in some companies, in some countries. It's really not available. So, people say, oh, I've got YouTube. And I'm just saying that because when we first got started and on Roku, we actually have to pay for access to these platforms. And we have people going, oh, I got a YouTube page. I'm just like you guys. No, YouTube is a Google product, and they are actually not available in many different countries. Yeah, so in the United States, you can definitely see YouTube. You can see YouTube in Canada. You can see YouTube in certain parts of South America. But when it comes to Southeast Asia, China, some parts of India, YouTube and Google are banned because they have their own search engines. There's a search engine that's as big as Google for the Chinese country of China. And they don't allow YouTube and allow Google in. But guess what they do allow in? Roku, Apple, and these other platforms that OnStage Plus is on. So guess what? When it really comes down to it, and I don't put out there to say, I'm showboating because I don't own Apple, I don't own Roku. We are just networks on those digital platforms. But technically, we have a bigger footprint and global reach than YouTube. But once again, our people, You know, they will go and they will die and live and die by YouTube without really investigating for themselves and saying, wait a minute, maybe I can do something more far reaching if I'm talking about being a global presence and really want my content being seen by a global audience, and just putting it up on YouTube is not going to do it. And then plus the fact that you're on YouTube, if you're, let's say you're someone and you do life coaching, for example, and you put your video on YouTube. Well, after your video plays, YouTube goes, huh, you like that? Maybe you're like, these are the life coaches. And next thing you know, your would-be client is already over somebody else. Okay? You don't like it? It's just the way it is. Okay? But on our network, we don't do that. We don't say, oh, if you like this, if you like Mike, you'll like Mick over here. You know? So I think that's something we need to really kind of talk about and really kind of, I want to know what your thoughts are when it comes to things like this, because it's really important. Please, in the chats over here, I want you guys to really kind of talk and really let me know what your thoughts are. And I want to have actually a specialist come in here and let's see, because I want to get her thoughts on this as well. And let's see. Let me just give her a call here. Okay. All right. Bye. All right. So she's about to log on. And let's see what else. Oh, so we're going to talk about Netflix and how a lot of people are basically, who are content creators, are going after Netflix and saying, hey, this is something, you know, I want to put my show on Netflix, or I want to see if maybe I can sell myself to Netflix, not knowing that Netflix is going to be pennies on the dollar. You know, and a lot of times people think, oh, I want to be on Netflix because, yes, that's a big platform and that's what you've heard. But what do you really know about Netflix? What do you really know about when it comes to really putting your name out there and really getting the best of your brand? Do you really know what's involved? You know, a lot of people don't. They just know, I've been told this. You know, this goes back to the old saying about the turkey and the oven. And if you never heard about the new bride, the turkey and the oven, let me tell you, that's a story and it's so funny. But it's really an example of how we do things out of rote memory, and we do it because so-and-so did it, and because so-and-so did it, and because so-and-so did it. We don't really think about, why are we still doing it? Does it serve us? You know, I think that is so very important. Let me see if I can bring her on. Okay, I'm waiting for her to come on. So, hey there, Veronica, how you doing? I'm doing a live stream talking about why people don't actually understand the value of Black media. But I would definitely talk to you actually after I'm off of my live stream for Veronica. So the other thing is, what is it that we need to do? I want to know too from you guys, what is it we're looking for? You have a brand and you want to put it out there, and a lot of times people, what do? I mean, you go on Instagram, right? We go on YouTube, we go on Facebook, but you don't really often monetize these things. Or if you are monetizing them, how are you doing it? I know one lady that was actually selling memberships to a Facebook group. And I was like, how are you going to sell something to somebody that's free? But at the same time, she had like 15,000 members on her Facebook group. But she was like, you pay me $5 a month and you can have access to this group. If you don't, I remove you from the access. And I get me mad at her because that's the, you know, hey, that's what she was able to do. So, you know, there it is. Let's see here. Is Sharice, is she on here? Hey there, Sharice, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
Awesome sauce, as they say. Right?
So funny, I was just talking about, you know, I said we need to really look at the fact that what we've been told historically doesn't really serve us, and I was looking at it from the
Right.
standpoint that so many people, at first I started talking about, YouTube, and so many people have like a YouTube, page or whatever, and sometimes in a state of disrepair or maybe it's not working. I said, but if YouTube started charging for it, best believe people would get in there and start, fixing those things up. But because it's free, people take advantage of it. They figure, I can do it. I don't have to do it. But then they get YouTube confused. And YouTube's a behemoth. I mean, honestly, it's a great platform, but don't get it confused with, mainstream media, or I've got a YouTube page that I've got a network, because it's a difference, And then I was gonna say too, I remember a guy I was talking to, and of course this is just when we first started putting together our digital platform, and he was like, "Look, I'm trying to get my commercial now too." I said, "Well, but you're selling things online, right? So you're national. I mean, you want to be international. Why are you trying to get a commercial on Channel 2?" He said, "Everybody's watching Channel 2." I'm like, "Everybody in the Bay Area, maybe, but outside the Bay Area, down in LA, they can't get Channel 2, and that's just California. Nobody's getting Channel 2 in Nevada." And I think sometimes we get so hooked that we don't really understand what's beneficial to us because we don't understand the media. And I know it was about 2 years ago, LL Cool J, was it Ice Cube, somebody else, they bought 26 analog TV stations from this company. And it was like,
Right.
"Oh, they're going to be real big." And I'm like, "Y'all just bought something that doesn't even work anymore because everything is digital.
Right.
Y'all could have took that money and went online and digital and had a presence, but you guys bought 26 stations that you don't need to either upgrade or that really they're selling them. They didn't want them anymore because the technology is no longer any good. Where are your advisors? Who was telling y'all this is not a good investment?"
Right.
And I'm just, I think we had someone I was talking to earlier, as I mentioned, and they were like, you can probably, I want to put a show and I want to get it on Netflix because everybody's thinking Netflix. So first of all, Netflix, last time I checked, if you were on there, they were paying you pennies on the dollar, and Netflix is not seen all over the world. I mean, there's Netflix, there's Apple, there's Amazon. Netflix is but one network on a digital platform. We're on a digital platform, same as Netflix.
And I think people underestimate the amount of negotiations that goes into that too. So if you're talking a major primetime player and you're able to go out and, break into, a particular arena, and then, Netflix may come to you, right? Netflix came to Obama's, but hell, he was the president of the United States. So, you know what I'm saying? Most popular president to this very day. So, and that's of all time in our 300 plus years of history, right? He was the most, and it still is. So, they're going to go to him. If you're one of those people, they're going to come to you. If you are, up and coming director, I think the negotiations or what they're looking for or who they fit may not be you, right? There was a long time Netflix wasn't interested in Black shows and all that stuff. They just wanted the primetime premium stuff that people would pay for. Now they're clamoring for Black content, right? And then there's a cycle where first there's Black content, then there's going to be Asian content, and then there's going to be some other, like, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, right? Like last time I checked, if you know anybody who was Greek, then weddings don't look unlike Black people weddings or Jewish weddings or Italian weddings, or they, it was great. And then you had my Asian rich people, right? So then they're going to be looking for some, content that's specific, that fits the times, depending upon what your content is. But I think we have to kind of scale back sometime and think about what it took for those people to get there. The journey is never what you think it is. The journey is never as easy as you think it is. I don't care how easy it may have looked. It was great that the Netflix came to the Obamas, but he had to be president first. And he had to suffer for 8 years. And it was a lot of hard work. And I'm sure he has a lot of trials and tribulations and stories we will never hear about until he's dead and gone. And there'll be somebody writing some autobiography, or we'll find some memoir somewhere. You just do not understand the journey and may not see the struggles that people have to get to where they've gotten to, you know? And I think
Right.
I think a lot of times people underestimate the journey and the process. And sometimes it can be great. And sometimes you could luck up and you could just hit a mad streak. Boom, 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 boom. It all happened for you, right? But then for most people, Whoopi Goldberg is not Whoopi Goldberg because she lucked up and played in a film. It was hard work, dedication, poverty, single mother, welfare, food stamps, evictions before she got that big gig, right? And then after she got the big gig, almost lost it because she was black and had made a comment on a radio station, almost ruined her career. Today we got a QAnon lady in Congress and can't get rid of her, right? Just think about that. Just like put this together, right?
Right.
Got this lady who is QAnon, and then she comes on the floor today and act like, oh, that was yesterday, and I don't know what you mean, and I don't remember those posts. But you don't remember yelling at a lady the other day walking down the halls of Congress? You was yelling at a black lady who made her move her office away from you, right?
Are you
So,
serious?
it just is the times we're in, and I think people don't understand how much it takes for people to get to the successes that they have. I think, we make everything seem easy. It looks easy, and everybody is, I can show you how to make 10K a day, but I ain't gonna tell you I worked 92,000 hours, never get no sleep, anorexic, and whatever it took to get there, right?
Right, absolutely. And that's the thing I think too is people, they're like, well, do this. And they like you said, they came to the Obamas, they came to Jay-Z and Beyonce for her Lemonade thing, everything. But these are, and I know people, I would hope they would know these are the exceptions rather than the norm. And then, of course, there's a lot of content on there. People go to Netflix and they get offered pennies on a dollar, And the thing is, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of what can the average person do if you're talking about your content on a digital platform. What have you done to really kind of put yourself out there? And I think a lot of times too is that people don't understand that this digital realm is huge. We are on Roku, we're on Apple, we're on Amazon Fire Stick,
and
Android.
it's so emerging. It is like we've really not tapped into the potential that it's going to happen, right? There was no Zoom in 2018. I remember doing a Zoom meeting and it was like, oh my God, I hate Zoom. Right now we live on, like, Zoom is like coffee now. But I remember having to download the app, and it was GoToMeeting was the meeting system, and Citrix was what we used for all of 2010 through 2020, right? Then all of a sudden here comes Zoom, and now does anybody say GoToMeeting anymore? I don't know if GoToMeeting even available.
Right, what even Skype was back in the day.
I remember when we got Skype on my iPhone. iPhones came out and they finally got the Skype app. And me and my cousin were Skyping each other, just testing it. I'm like, oh yeah, Skype. That's right. I forgot about Skype. I had to go in there and think about, what's my username on Skype? Do they have usernames? I use that thing in so long. So it has emerged so quick and so fast. And it's going to be so much more as new players come on, more investments gets made. But you can't underestimate the power of it, but you also cannot downplay the people who were going to become instant millionaires because of it. But that's not everybody. Everybody didn't win in the dot-com bubble. And at first it was boom. Everybody was, I'm a millionaire. We sold and boom, right? Everybody didn't win. There's a lot of companies that went under. A lot of people lost a lot of money. There were some winners. It's like the whole Robinhood thing the other day. I was watching a story about somebody who's lost everything in that Robinhood GameStop because they got in and they got stopped and they got wiped out. So, those first few may have really made out like a bandit, but we only hear those stories. We don't hear the stories about the people who took big losses in that.
What's so funny? This is weird because when it comes to this, I'm really ignorant. When in fact, this whole thing for example, and this is what I understood, GameStop have filed for bankruptcy. They were pretty much on their way out. And then you got some people on Reddit who was like, oh my God, the big hedge funds are betting against GameStop. Let's rally together and buy their stock. So they rallied together, and all of a sudden now GameStop shot through the roof. But for whatever reason, the powers that be were like, no, we had already counted this stock out. We're going to halt your buying the stock, which basically is going into like a free market economy, which nothing can
And it
stop.
caused a lot of complications, and now Robinhood has a lot of backlash. But I thought Robinhood was a good thing. I promoted them. I liked them for what they were doing. As you know, teaching Moolah Matters for many, many years to children, teaching them how there was a special program they'd have to go through me to be able to buy one share of one share of one share, right,
Yeah.
of a piece of stock to be able to get into that world and start learning it and doing it at a very early age. And so I thought Robinhood was like the next version of the digital version of that, right? So I liked it, but again, I don't gamble. I think a lot of times we have to think about those things as gambling. So I probably should say I don't gamble on some things, because on a lot of things I do, like myself, being an entrepreneur, getting out there, because that's a gamble, right? I mean, every day you don't know what's going to come next, or you're being prepared, and it's being in big business. And now even Amazon has decided I'm going to do something new. He's going to go work at the Washington Post. He's not walking away from Amazon, but leaving his post as CEO, right?
What?
Bezos.
Wait,
Yeah,
Jeff
Bezos is
Bezos
leaving his
is leaving
post
his
as
post
CEO
as
of Amazon to go over and work more in the newspaper arena over at the Washington Post, which he owns also.
Wait. Amazon owns the Washington Post.
Bezos owns the Washington Post.
Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post.
Yes, you didn't know that's why Trump hates it so much. Trump hates the Washington Post because of Bezos.
So he's leaving a $1 trillion valuation company.
He's
as
not
CEO.
leaving. He's stepping down as CEO. He'll still be president, something, but he's now going to go and focus on priorities that he has in space and in newspaper. Hey, listen, I love it. I love it because the more he puts his money and energy behind things, the more possibilities open up. He's created people who will be billionaires coming up in their lifetimes. He's now giving people opportunities on their own distribution routes, their own trucking, and he teaches you how to do it for next to nothing. You can get in and learn how to do that. There may be some flaws, and people may be saying, "Oh, it ain't what you think it is." But listen, he's opened a door for you. I remember when Chevron did the same thing, and they started letting people buy gas stations back when you could still get self-service. For those of you who know what that is, right? But I think I think it's fantastic, and I think that when people do stuff like that, and they open up doors like that, just like the digital media arena, just like this whole digital world, when the internet was still information superhighway, we would have never thought we'd have been like, hey, let's jump on the live and talk about stuff, right?
Right. Absolutely.
In front of my 5,000 viewers or wherever we're looking at right now, right?
Right.
Never.
And you mentioned that because it's like, for example, I don't know if people can see here, when I'm looking at, let's see here, when I'm looking at putting something together, right? And I'm trying to like brainstorm. Last night I'm sitting here and I'm going through everything, and like you said, set my game up, and I'm going through and okay, so what do I need to do to get this going? And I'm looking at, wait a minute, what's going on here? What's going on there? Because the fact is, like, for example, back when AOL was the first thing, we would get in chat rooms, we'd see each other, and we would just text it and then talk, right?
And $1,000 later, you'd be saying, well, now what exactly was I paying $1,000 for? Because it's a bunch of letters and I typed a letter up for $1,000 is basically what it was. Right. So I mean, the world has come a long way, and I think that we cannot. Here's what I say to you, David. Here's what I say to you. In my calendar. Oh, my calendar is way over there. I'm gonna get it. It's just right here on the side of my thing. Right. Okay, I'm grabbing it.
Oh, no problem.
And I want you to buy. You go buy one of these today, okay? If you haven't already.
Okay.
Just go buy one of these. You can go to lulu.com, type
Lulu.
in Sharice Gilliam, You can type in Sharice Gilliam or Hustlepreneur. So go to lulu.com.
Okay.
Type in Sharice Gilliam in the search, right?
Okay.
And get this calendar. So this is my 2021 14-month calendar. And I created this calendar because I think it's very important that every day you have an aspiration in front of you that you can look at to motivate you, to remind you of who you are and what you're doing and what you're working towards, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I don't know what month is your birthday, but I should have
January.
put this. Oh, yeah, January. But I should have put this on January for you, but it's not. It's on August, but it's okay. Still gonna be good to you anyway.
Okay.
I want you to get this calendar, and then in here, what does it say?
Be a hustler until your haters ask you. Oh, I love that. I love that. Wow.
So this is part of the Hustlepreneur's journey, right? This is a series. I'm going to be doing a training coming up. I think in March or April, I'm doing a training coming up, and it's all about the Hustlepreneur's journey. It goes with I'm a Mad Hustler with a Dream, the Hustlepreneur's Journey book, and I'm gonna do a whole training about how to level up, how we as hustlers need to support each other, promote each other, and do things that are different to be able to raise our game. Because when I said step up your game, I ain't mad at nobody telling me to step up my game. I'm stepping up my game and creating this workshop training for us. It'll be a free training. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to give you a lot of different tools that you'll be able to use to really do things differently in your business and scale up and not just be doing it like everybody else. But so I want you to go and get the I'm a Mad Hustler with a Dream calendar from Lulu and have an aspiration every day in front of you to continue to keep you motivated, because you cannot let haters bust your bubble. They don't have what you have. They ain't doing what you're doing. And if they do, oh well, move on.
Absolutely. Right? And that's the thing too. A lot of times we'll look at validation, especially from those we figure love us, family members. But it said, if a person can't see your dream or their dream for themselves, how are they going to see the dream for you? You know, and a lot of times we go, you know, well, this, and they'll be like, I wouldn't do that. Just go on and, you know, do this. No, don't do that. You don't want to take a chance. That's crazy. You need to go on and, you know, and I have friends who
so my mother used to always say to me, be careful who you take advice from, because unless they're considered to be an expert, who you talking to? So unless you are running some multi-million-dollar hedge fund and they recently got they're what's handed to them.
Right.
Even though they were the ones that devalued the stock for GameStop, right? So sometimes we have to be careful who we take advice from.
Right.
We really need to make sure that the person is focused, concentrated, and are moving in the same direction as you, right? If you and I are moving two different directions, I can't take advice from you because you're not moving the direction that I'm moving. Now, your advice may be good for someone, but it may not be good for me. So I have to be careful about who I take advice from.
Right.
So that's why I say, if you're a hustlepreneur and you're a part of my tribe, you'll hear me say it all the time. Keep on hustling, doing what you do. Be the hustlepreneur that you are, and wait for your haters to say, hey, you hiring? Because I'm going to come be part of your team. And guess what? I'm going to say, yep, I got a job for you, because I'm not mad at nobody. I'll put you on my team in a heartbeat. I'm not mad at it.
That is so true, because I think people, for the most part, don't ask somebody for advice if they're not where you want to go, or they don't have the advice to get you where you need to be. You know, we're asking people that, you know, we're working with.
Yes.
You know, I'm working at Walmart, and I'm asking to do the hearts. What's the secret of success? Well, let me tell you. What the hell?
Right. You know? Right. I was listening to this video this morning, and it told me, yeah, but okay, thank you. Right. Now, listen, I'm not mad at those people who push carts, because everybody needs a job.
Back in the day,
it's the point is who you're taking advice from and when you're taking that advice.
Yeah.
Right? I think we need to be a lot more careful about what we do when we do that.
And that's the thing, too. We need to also, I hate to say it, like I said, I was saying it earlier, we need to stop saying just because we see this, and we figure, well, you know, if a person is white, they probably got more connections than they got. And I've literally had people tell me that, well, so-and-so, like, wait a minute, here I am we're running our own digital network. We're in 248 million homes. But you mean to tell me you go ask this guy who basically has a online radio station, but he's white, what you should do when it comes to media, really?
Yeah, because I think we devalue the participation and the impact that we've made over time. I love Black History Month because it begins to remind people the impact that we've made in the world, in society, in the countries that we're in, whether it be America or UK or Australia or wherever. We've made an impact. And so it isn't, sometimes it is true. They have connections that you don't have, but sometimes it isn't true. But sometimes it's not that it's necessary either, right? And I think it's just important to know the impact that we've made and the impact that you are making and the direction you are going and the road that you are paving and the doors that you are opening for those who may come behind you and those who will come alongside of you, right? So again, I think it's the conversations that we have with people need to be glass half full conversations rather than glass half empty conversations.
Yes, absolutely. And as a matter of fact, I want to show you guys something if I could. Let's see here.
Oh, is it going to be the order form where you ordering from lulu.com and getting my calendar? No, I'm kidding.
You know, as a matter of fact, it is. See, you done ruined it for everybody.
I'm sorry. That's how well I know you.
You can't hate her. What is it? Can you give me the let's see, like us here. STAG plus. So we'll keep going. I want to show you guys our reach, and the reason I'm saying this is because we did our analytics the other day, and I was really impressed. I was like, "Oh my God, here we are! Wait a minute, is that really us? Is that really where we're able to be seen at?" And so I was really shocked at the fact that here we are, not even 2 years, and we're already in the,
that's impressive.
In countries. That I want to show you guys the thing. So as we're talking, I'm pulling this up. Let's see. Bear with me, guys.
I think that's extremely impressive to be only just a couple years old. The work that you've already put in just tells you the payoff is there, you know?
Yeah. I think it's really, that's another thing too, where we need to really kind of see where we're trying to go. I mean, this is 2021. We're looking at everything from, selling online to now, and it's so funny because sometimes I say things come around that we've seen before. Like, for example, I was mentioning about the fact that we have AOL was the big thing back in the day. Now we're in Clubhouse, and Clubhouse is, what is that? It's like the chat line. It's the chat line. Everybody is like,
it reminds me of what was it called back in the day? We'd all get on the telephone.
The party line.
Party line.
Yes. It's like, wait a minute, what is going on?
Except for party line, you couldn't see who was talking about what subject versus Clubhouse. It's a lot easier to see, but then that's just because it's more, up to date and more modern. Hey, speaking of Clubhouse, David, we're going to be on Clubhouse today. At what time? What time are we going to be on Clubhouse?
Well, I want to be on Clubhouse. I was thinking, can you what login is under? Oh, get me? Okay. I'll get it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to go on Clubhouse because you guys, Sheree, tell them what's the benefits of Clubhouse?
So one is it's just a great networking opportunity, right? So one is you get into a club where someone is talking about a subject matter that either A, you know about, or B, you want to learn about. And two, a lot of people are on there talking every day, getting referrals, networking, building their business. If you sell a product or you have a group or you have a membership or you sell courses or classes or you do something similar to that, they're in there meeting people, talking about what they do, taking those people and moving them over into their own platforms, whether it be Instagram, you build up your following, Twitter, Facebook. People are just crushing it in there. So I think one is, for me, it's a great place to go listen to conversations about things I like to listen to. And hear the feedback from other people. So I have a podcast. Chit Chat with Sharice comes on every Monday at 1:00 on all your platforms, Anchor, iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. And I get to interview an individual about their business journey and what you can take away from them on your business journey growth. But in Clubhouse, I get to hear multiple people talk at once. It's like being on a Zoom call without listening to all the people talking, without seeing all the people's faces, right? And then there's no interaction. Only a certain people can talk. So it might be hundreds of people listening and only 10 people talking. So it's kind of hard to get that on a podcast. So it's like the podcast version of the conference call kind of thing, right?
Okay.
And that's why I like it.
Wow. So, see, this is great. This is great. So we're looking at, let's see here. And I was going to pick up, for example, I'm sitting here, I wanted to show you guys something here. I don't know if you can see, and I'm going to try to now, once again, I'm sitting here with my, let's see here. Okay. So I'm seeing if I can show my screen. There we go. And there we go. Okay. All right. Can you guys see this? Do you see do you see this?
No.
Let's see. Okay. Let's see here. What I'm attempting to do is share my screen here. And
You're frozen, so it's not working.
oh my God.
Yeah. All right, why don't you do this? Why don't you drop a picture into the chat, into the comments? Everybody can catch it that way, right?
Okay.
But we got to get off because we got to get ready to go Clubhouse ourselves. But what room are we going to in Clubhouse?
You know what? Oh my God! You know what? You tell me. What's a good? Where should we go?
Let's see. Let's get on there and go into. Let's look and see what's on here right now. Let's see who's on.
All right.
Ooh, I got invites. So if anybody needs an invite to Clubhouse, because you can only watch Clubhouse on iPad or iPhone, you have to be on an Apple product, but not your computer. So you have to be on a phone, and you have to have an invite. So if you don't have an invite to Clubhouse, but you would like to, go to Sharice Gilliam on Facebook or David Watts on Facebook. Hit us up in the DM, and we'll send you an invite because it is invite only.
Back, you guys remember? Hold on. Remember back in the day, you guys, when Google was giving away access to email, you had to have someone in the know, a developer or whatever it was, to get an email. Clubhouse is like that now. You can't just pop on and say, "Oh, I'm going to log in and get a Clubhouse room." You got to be invited. You got to know somebody's connected. Sharice is connected. She connected me, so I've got a couple of invites I'm holding close to the rest. I'll be honest. If you are, like I said, a math husband, I know somebody's going to add value to the platform.
There's so many things on here. Jump in. Here's what I love about Clubhouse, because there's so many good topics on here. I don't know which one we're going to get into now, because I'm like, oh, I want this one, I want that one, I want this one. But anyway, I see my girl Stevie Mills is on here, so I might jump into hers for a minute. The one thing that I do know is that when you get on Clubhouse, you get to see where we are. You'll see what room we're in, and then you can just jump in that room. And if you don't like the topic, you don't want to listen anymore, you can just go to your own room. But guess what? You can't do any of that if you ain't on Clubhouse. And you can't get on Clubhouse if you don't got an invite. So hit us up with a DM and get your invite. All right, y'all. My name is Sharice Gilliam. I'm the Original Hustlepreneur. We are out of here because we're on our way to Clubhouse.
Boom. I will see you, Sharice, in Clubhouse. All right.